Hello learners of all ages, my name is Mr. Montgomery. I teach 4th and 5th grade math, and today we're going to be talking about estimating sums. Now, estimation is just a fancy word for saying that we're going to get an answer that is close or in the ballpark, but it is not a far out type of guess. Examples where you would use estimation would be grocery store or trying to figure out to the nearest mile how long a trip shall take. And so when we're going to be talking about estimation, we're going to be starting out with the very, very basics. We have an example problem of $5,280 plus $765 plus $1,527. And the book wants us to round each number to estimate sums. We're supposed to round each number to the greatest place value of the least number. So the least number, the smallest number would be the 765. And so the greatest place value of the smallest number would be in the hundreds place. That's 7. So that means that with each one, I'm going to be rounding to the nearest hundreds place for each one. Hey, this looks very familiar to what we did in chapter 1. We had that underline, but who was the boss? Was it an underlined number? No, it was a box number. I'm going to put a box behind each one of these underlined sections. So now I have boxes around the numbers that are the boss. Remember, 5 and above, we give it a shove. 4 and below, we keep it the same and everything goes back down to 0 behind it. So I know that 5 is going to stay the same because it's right in front of the underlined number. But 2 is that underlined number and 8 is the boss after it. Is 8 5 and above or 4 and below? That's 5 and above. So we're going to give that 2 a shove, not to 2, but it's going to move up to a 3, and the rest of it behind is going to be turning to zeros. My new estimated number for this is 5,300. My next one, 765. Well, 6 is that box number, it's the boss. And so this 6 is going to tell the 7 to, yeah, that's right, give it a shove. It's going to move to an 8. Make sure we have it in our hundreds place. The rest go to 0 after that. And this 2 is going to be telling the 5 to do, yeah, stay the same. So 1's going to stay the same here, 5's going to stay the same there, and the rest of the numbers go back to 0. There you go. You're figuring it out. So now I have my numbers that I'm going to add together to figure out my estimated answer. Well, 0 plus 0 is always going to be 0. 0 plus 0 again. Awesome. Now, here's where we can start to figure out how we can add. You can go straight down, but the way my brain works, and maybe it's the way that your brain works too, is I like to combine certain numbers together. I know 5 plus 3 is 8, and 8 plus 8 is 16. Or you can figure out 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 plus 5 is still 16. I'm going to put my 6 down here. I'm going to regroup and put my 1 up here. I'm going to carry it because I can't have a double-digit number in a single-digit place. So I'm going to move my 1 up here. Now I have 1 plus 5 plus 1. Well, 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 plus 5 is 7. So my estimated answer will be $7,600. Let's do another example. So this example is going to be found on page 21 in your workbook. Problem number 1, if you'd like to follow along. Now, the two numbers that we're going to be estimating to find an answer for, we're going to be rounding to the the largest place value of the smallest number. So which one of these two numbers, the top one or the bottom one, is the smallest number? Okay, and what's the largest place value? Is it the ones place, tens place, hundreds place, thousands place, or 10,000s place? It's the 10,000s place, yeah. I'm going to be rounding to the 10,000s place for both of them. Now, again, the underlined number is not the boss. We're going to have to put a box around the boss that is behind. So that's that driving force, that pushing force. So again, in the box, if the answer is 5 and above, we give the underlined number a shove and then the rest go to 0 behind it. Now if the answer, or if the boss in the box is 4 and below, the underlined number we keep the exact same and everything else behind it goes to 0. So 2 will stay the same. I'll write the 2 over here. But now I have the 6 that's going to be telling the other 6 what to do. Is 6 5 and above or 4 and below? Yeah, it's 5 and above. So it's going to change that underlined 6 to a 7. So we change that underlined number and then the rest behind it go to 0. I have 1 0, 2, 3, 4. 4 zeros. Awesome. Now this 2. Well, the 3 is the boss of this 2, and the 3 is going to tell the 2 to what? Stay the same. So the 3 is going to tell the 2 to stay exactly the way it is, 2. So we're going to keep that underlined number, we're going to keep that 2, and the rest of them behind it turns to 0. So that 3 is going to turn to a 0, 7, 8, and 6 are going to turn to also zeros. Now we can add these together. All these zeros, when we add them together, will still equal 0. Don't forget your comma. 7 plus 2, 9. And we're going to bring down our 2. So our answer is about. I forgot that in the very first one. But about is very, very important because it lets us know that it is an estimation. It's not an exact answer. About 290,000. All right, fourth graders, looking at our practice problems on page 21, we're going to be completing number 5 and number 7. Number 5 and number 7 both have the same directions as we just did on practice problem number 1, which is estimate each sum. Again, you're finding the smallest number, but the greatest place value of each of those numbers based on that. So what I mean is in the very first one for number 5, what is the smallest number out of those 3? Yeah, it's the bottom one. And what's the greatest place value of that number, 651? It's the 600. So we're going to be finding each number to the nearest hundreds. So the 6 will be underlined for 651. The 5 will be underlined in 4,560. The 3 will be underlined in 15,301. You're going to do the same thing for number 7. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me tomorrow when you bring this to class.